22nd of December, Rabbi Levitt, Pele, Yoetz.
Okay. Welcome to everybody. Pele Yoetz, page 177, I believe.
Yep.
And the first full paragraph. A man. Mary, would you like to start us off?
Okay. It says, a man who tells the praise of his friends in the presence of his enemies or unscrupulous people has spoken Lashon Hara, because as a result of his praise, they will come to speak his shame. Likewise, if someone relates the praise of his friend in front of him in such a way that it causes him to be arrogant, it is considered a sin instead of a mitzvah, for he violates, and you shall not place a stumbling block before a blind man. It's going to write more about this in the entry of Shefach. Okay.
Okay. All right. It would be a question then, how does a person encourage and give chizuk to his friend?
Well, it says in such a way that it causes him to be arrogant.
Someone relates the praise of his friend in such a way that it causes him to be arrogant. Oh, okay.
It's saying
All
that
right.
you've got to be careful. If you're praising, you can't just say to yourself, well, if I'm praising, everything's fine. I can praise anytime I want, anywhere I want, anyhow I want. It's saying you got to be careful. You know, if you're praising somebody in front of an enemy of his, and and that's going to lead to the enemy lashing out, or if you're praising somebody, profusely in his presence, then you got a problem. You got to be careful. You got to think twice before you praise somebody.
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking now. This is the Rashi that Chazal that he brings from Chazal in Parshas Noach. That one pasuk says Noach was a tzaddik tamim, Doroso, but tzaddik tamim. But then when Hashem addresses him directly, he doesn't use that same praise. He relates mixas praise. He relates a portion of the praise, but not the full praise. When he's when he's speaking in front of the person. Okay. So that's how you do it. Okay. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning.
So we're on page 177, and we are in now we're going to start the second full paragraph, and we're going to ask Lou to continue. Yes.
God will be angry at the voice of a person who confesses without any heart or humility, and he will say, she has raised her voice against me, and you showed the brazen forehead of an unfaithful woman. In particular, those people who stand up straight without a bent head, recite the confession quickly, and beat their chest with the tips of their fingers, are actually comparable to someone who incites animosity against his friend and says, now you will see. Rather, the confession must be said with a bowed head and a tearful voice, as we will write in entry vidui. We're talking about the vidui confession, I guess. And
Right.
I really don't get this thing about now you will see, or this quote about she raised her voice.
Let's see. Beta chess and two are actually comparable to someone who incites animosity against his friend. And he says, now you will see. What does that mean? Someone who incites animosity against somebody who says vidui without
Show humility and bent head.
so he's inciting, he's comparable to someone who incites animosity against his friend. And says, now you will see. Okay, I mean, at least we could say this much, I believe. This is a vidui, which is perhaps better not even said. Better not to say any vidui unless it's done in the correct way, because it's like he quotes from this pasuk. It shows a certain brazenness that he takes the averas that he's done lightly, and that he doesn't say the vidui with a feeling for the fact that he's acted in a very in really a traitorous way to Hashem, in an unfaithful way, like he quotes the pasuk, the brazen forehead of an unfaithful woman. He's so in order to say vidui, it has to be in it with a bowed head and a tearful voice, and so that we could understand that if it's done in oh, Yehiel is calling. Just a second. Yes, good morning. Yes, we have a new link. I'm hosting the meeting and we have a new link. So I sent out the new link in yesterday's class. If you look in your emails. Okay, we're gonna hold on for a second. So I'm just saying, at least as far as that goes, we understand that he's inciting. It's comparable to someone who's inciting animosity against his friend, so to speak. We're saying like Hashem is like the friend, that he's inciting animosity with the words that he's saying. But what it has to do with this that he says, now you will see, I'm not sure what that is referring to. Now you will see. Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Mrs. Bohr, good morning. Yes, there's a shir this morning, but my wife made a new link. We began at the regular time today at 10. But I'm saying that if you look at yesterday's, you should have an email from yesterday. Okay, very good. Sure. Okay. Okay. All right. So next paragraph, we'll go on. Alan, would you like to continue? These are a few.
And these are a few of the examples of a person who thought to speak and be rewarded for his speech. His expectation was not realized. Some of them resulted in tragedy rather than reward, and joy was transformed into sorrow when he thought to do a mitzvah, instead committed a sin and an abomination. In some cases, he received his reward, but it was a like a voice that was shattered. In the seat of justice, there was evil and a mixture of remissions and troubles. The person is punished, and his good reward is taken away. For the Holy One, blessed be He, does not conceive the punishment for sin or deprive any individual of a just reward. Heaven forbid. The next sentence is, now we will begin to identify those aspects of speech that are totally immoral and in which a God-fearing person needs to be cautious as well.
Okay. Well, this is the. I don't know what to do. It's the Mishtarat Yisrael. They keep calling me. They have a recorded message, and I don't want to
No,
just here. I'll just. Okay, now I can maybe put it on silent. Okay.
They're checking for your isolation.
Oh yeah, I got a phone call this morning.
uh-huh.
I got a phone call this morning, and
Hmm.
I didn't realize that it was them. It was just a ordinary 02 number, and I called back because I didn't answer the phone because I was in the middle of davening, and they said this is the Mishtara.
Right.
So I said Shalom Aleichem Mishtara.
There were more than
Is that
1,000 new
Tababait?
cases of corona yesterday. It's really bad.
Here?
In
Really?
Yeah.
Israel, more than 1,000 new cases. Yeah.
And one person died, I think, too.
That's the new strain that
think
came
so.
in?
That's
I think
the
it is.
contribution of the new strain. Yeah.
Okay. So
We have to keep learning and davening.
mhm.
Helping our fellow human beings.
Right.
Okay. So so let's so we read this, and so now we can go to the next section. Lashon Hara is the next section, and we go back to Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Let's see. Where were we again? Now we will begin.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we will begin to identify those aspects of speech that are totally immoral and in which a God-fearing person needs to be cautious as well. I guess I should continue.
Yeah, you could continue.
Okay, so it says, Lashon Hara is the major root that produces bitter results, for it is considered as severe as idolatry, adultery, and murder. And that's from Erechim. David HaMelech already excised the one who speaks gossip, as it is written in Tehillim, may God cut off all lips of smooth talk, the tongue which speaks arrogantly. Lashon Hara is speaking about the disgrace of his friend. If it is something that is not true, it is called slander. If it is true, then it is only gossip. It is prohibited as long as it is something that was not publicized and the individual exposed the secret like a peddler who carries his wares back and forth and says, so-and-so did this to you, or spoke about you, such and such. Ooh. Great is their sin, for their tongue is like a pulled arrow, and their throat is like an open grave. However, if he sees the damage is approaching his friend, he is obligated to inform him in order that he should protect himself. About this, it says in Vayikra, do not go about as a gossip monger among your people, and do not stand idly by the blood of your brother. I am God.
Oh, interesting. You see the smichus between the two ideas in the same pasuk.
Mhm.
The first part of the pasuk says, don't go about as a gossip monger. In other words, don't speak a lashon hora among your people. And the next part of the pasuk says, don't stand idly by the blood of your brother. What does that have to do with the first part of the pasuk? Perhaps the explanation is that that while it's totally forbidden to speak lashon hora, if there's no there's no positive purpose that's intended by speaking this lashon hora. But in the case where it could in the case where you're concerned about the blood of your brother, don't stand idly by. You have information. You know that someone is coming to try to harm him. Then it's not considered to be lashon hora. It perhaps is a obligation to tell him. That's what it sounds like in the pasuk. It's an obligation to tell him, not simply that it's permissible, because you can't stand idly by the blood of your brother. Perhaps. I mean, that's certainly what the Pele Yoetz, how he's understanding, because he brings the pasuk after having said this he's obligated to inform him if danger is approaching his friend. And he says about this, the pasuk says. Okay, very good. Next the paragraph we go to Lou.
I have a comment.
We're still waiting for Roy.
I have
Yes.
a comment. It says that where does it say it? It says that it's okay to speak lashon hora if it's well known. I lost the place.
What page is it? Yes, yeah. What
Oh,
page?
good morning, Rabbi Yechiel. We are on. Welcome. We just turned. We're talking about the bottom paragraph of page 177 in
So it
Pele
says-
Yoetz.
It says it is prohibited as long as it is something that is not publicized and the individual exposed the secret like a peddler. So I don't think that's correct. My source is this book here, this Guard Your Tongue by Rabbi Pliskin.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
It says here, disbelieving well-known lashon hora, you are forbidden to believe a widespread rumor that a person has performed an improper act. Example, Mr. Spitzer read in the newspaper that Michael was caught smuggling. Even though that information is well known, Mr. Spitzer is forbidden to believe it or to have read it. And then another short one. Lashon hara that is common knowledge. Many people mistakenly think that repeating well-known derogatory information is not considered lashon hara. It should be made clear that many halachic authorities do not differentiate between lashon hara that is well-known and lashon hara that is not well-known. However, there is a lenient opinion which holds that if someone speaks lashon hara in the presence of 3 or more people, apai talas, and they subsequently repeat this information, they are not guilty of speaking lashon hara. The original speaker, of course, has sinned. In chapter 11, we will enumerate the qualifications of this lenient opinion, which so severely restrict it that its application will be extremely rare. Even if all the necessary conditions are fulfilled in a particular instance, the Chavetz Chaim remains in doubt whether the lenient opinion can be relied upon even then, since according to many authorities, there is no basis for this ruling. Therefore, even lashon hara that is well known should not be repeated. Example, Mr. Gold read in the New York Times that Mr. Cohen was arrested for an infringement of the law. Even though this is well known, Mr. Gold should not relate this information to others.
Yeah, and in addition to that, he's not allowed to believe what he read.
Right. I'm not sure what the Yoetz is, where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's probably. I'm just looking for the in the Hebrew. He probably mentioned these words apetlas. Apetlas means in front of, in Aramaic, in front of 3.
Right.
So, oh, we need Eliezer here. I can't see where this is. Oh, here we go. That's interesting. It looks like he has a paragraph that was not translated here. Oh, no, he did that. Yeah, right, he did that. Okay, sorry. That's correct. Oh, he just says, V'imhu emes, okay, nikra al shem lashon hora, kol shelo haya mefursam. V'zeh megaleyu holek rochil, u'megalei sod, shetoen devorim. Okay. Imhu davar shelo yesh bo. If it's a matter that is untrue, there's no truth to it, so it's nikra gamkein motzi shemra. It's called motzi shemra. Imu emes nikra lashon hora kol shelo haya mefursam. If it's true, it's called lashon hora, provided that it was not mefursam, it hasn't been become widely known. Now he doesn't say here in the Pele Yoetz that it would be permissible to speak that speech just because it's mefursam, just because it is publicized. He just is saying over here in his writing here in the Hebrew that it wouldn't be called, it wouldn't have a shame of lashon hora. If it's true and it's not publicized, so then it would be called lashon hora. Would it be permissible to speak it if it is before some? He didn't make a point of saying that it is. maybe that's how the translator understands the implication. I wouldn't necessarily say that myself. V'zemagoleu, holy. He just says lashon hara, that it's called lashon hara as long as it wasn't publicized, and he now goes ahead and reveals this matter which has not been publicized. Holik Rochil, he goes like a peddler, peddles his words. Magalis Sod, he's revealing a private information that people do not know about. Shetoan Devorim, Molik Umevi v'omer Ploni Yosala l'cha kach. He goes carrying these words around and saying, you know that Ploni did the following thing to you, the following bad thing to you. I would not have translated the Pele Yoetz the way that our translation reads.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It says, then it is only gossip. There's an implication there that it's not so bad. But if you translate it as it's lashon hara, the implication is it's very bad. Everybody knows lashon hara is very bad.
That's another point, right? To call it God, it's very hard to translate it into English. How do you translate lashon hara into English? What's the correct translation? There's no such thing.
There's no
There's no such concept. There's no such concept because in the Western world, if it's true, then there's nothing wrong with saying it.
Right.
That's what the newspapers think, even though that they don't even know what if it's. I'm not sure if it's true in any case what they're saying either. But
Not just the newspapers. It's the in America. It's the court. If you try to sue somebody for printing something about you that is derogatory, and the defendant can prove that it's true, then he gets off scot-free.
Slander is by definition false.
That's right.
If it's true, then that's a total defense.
That's right.
Even though it ruins the person's business.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
But my point here with the common knowledge, with the reading the article in the newspaper, goes much deeper than that. It's the idea is that your fellow Jew should be like your brother. So if my brother Chas v'Shalom was arrested, and an article appeared in the New York Times saying that he was arrested or found guilty, for that matter, would I be sharing that with people? Would I bring that to the Shabbos table and say, "Oh, by the way, look here, Shlomo Friedkis was arrested"? Isn't that interesting? I wouldn't say that. I feel terrible about it.
You would want no one to know about it.
Right. Even though they know, I know that they know. I know that everybody knows, but nevertheless, I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not going to bring it up.
You're saying even if it would be widely known.
I'm saying it's in the New York Times, right? But I'm still not going to bring the New York Times to the table and read it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me, where are we?
Good morning, Roy.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I had so much trouble getting in. I've still got trouble, but still, where are we?
Roy. Sorry to hear that. We are We are on page 177, and we actually just turned the page, but we're discussing what it says on the bottom paragraph of 177 about lashon hara. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're on page 178. Now we finished page 177, so that calls for a round of applause. Hooray for 177. Okay, Bezrat Hashem. Hashem should help us to continue.
Amen.
Amen.
178. And I believe it's Alan's turn to read now.
Indecent language will destroy the soul of the speaker, as is written in Yeshayahu. Therefore, God will not rejoice over his young men, and he will not pity his orphans and widows, because and every mouth speaks decadence. Our sages in Shabbos 33a said, Gehenna is made deeper for both the speaker of foul language and a person who hears and does not protest. Even the decree of 70 years of good will be annulled and converted to bad for such people. Foul language is defined as speaking indecently about marital relations, whether openly by hinting or in Gentile songs. This person is immediately excommunicated by 40 angels who are appointed to excommunicate a man who even rarely mentions the words of decadence. Heaven should save us.
Okay.
So it says indecent language, and also it says and foul language. So I guess indecent language is foul language.
Oh, what's the difference between those two things? Yeah, in the Hebrew it says navlus hapeh. And then in the other,
Well, he says foul language is defined as speaking indecently. So he's saying they're the same.
Amikin Gehenim bein l'medaber ubein l'shomea v'shotek. Actually, in the Hebrew, he doesn't even say the of foul language, because the Gemara doesn't say anything about that. It already said it. It already mentioned the this term, which is called nivel peh. Nivel peh basically means the navlut of the peh. It's interesting. It's the same word as nevela. Same word as nevela. So when a person speaks this type of language, it's like it's a nivel of the peh. Navlut hapeh. It's a smichus. That's what's being done to the aver, to the limb of the person who speaks it. It's like we always know. An avera does two things. It causes harm in the world, And it also causes great harm to the person that does the Avera. Okay, so it's interesting. That's the expression that he uses. Navlus hapeh. He said it. He said it twice in this entry right here, in this paragraph. Okay, and that is a Gemara in Shabbos, well-known Gemara. Okay. Let's go further. A person who swears a false or a vain oath. Has Roy got in? Roy didn't get in yet. He was in and then he went out.
He's been
Okay.
having trouble all morning.
Oh,
He said he's working on it. Something with a plug.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
He's supposed to get it fixed tomorrow, actually. He's got
Hmm.
the company is coming out tomorrow to do something.
Oh, okay. Bezrat Hashem, they'll be fixed. Okay,
Man.
so I guess we're back to Mayor.
Okay, let's see. A person who swears a false or vain oath, meaning that it was gratuitous, since a court did not demand that he swear, or someone who mentions the name of God in vain in any language bears a great sin. Behold, the entire world shook when the Holy One, blessed be he, said, "You shall not mention the name of the Lord your God in vain," from Shavuot. It is prohibited to talk to someone who habitually swears for even the most minor matter, since before a blind man you shall not place a stumbling block. However, there are situations when it is a mitzvah to swear. For example, to alleviate a mistaken suspicion so that the person will be exonerated before God and Israel, to separate oneself from a prohibited behavior, or to galvanize oneself to perform a mitzvah, as we wrote in its place.
Okay, so for the sake of a mitzvah, in other words, then it would be permissible. Okay. But mostly, whenever you have to sign something or some type of a government form or whatever it is, and it says there that you swear or something, you should cross it out and say, "I affirm." Should never sign it just without correcting it. All right. Or if somebody is a witness in a secular court, I think I don't know what the custom is in Israel, but in America I believe that from what I remember, they require the witness to swear that he's going to tell the truth. So in that case, you shouldn't do that. You should say rather, I can't swear, for religious reason, but I wholeheartedly affirm that what I'm saying is true.
Yeah. In New Jersey, if you tell the judge that, he will let you say affirm.
Uh-huh. Oh, very good. That's good. In New Jersey.
Well, I sat on a court in the county seat in my county, and they make all the jurors, take an oath. So I said, with all due respect, I can't swear. he said, well, say affirm instead.
Uh-huh. Oh, good. Oh, even a juror who's not even testifying.
Right, right. They have to also take an oath. You know, that they're doing everything, they're listening, that they're doing everything fairly, and they'll,
Oh, I see. Okay.
you know, they'll adjudicate as well as best they can.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when you sign a tax return, what do they say over there? You don't have to, do you have to swear that everything here is correct, or
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I think they say by signing, you're, I don't know if they say you're affirming though. You're, I don't know. I have to look that up. Maybe tomorrow I'll let you know.
okay. Very good.
It might be called a confirmation instead of an oath.
Ah,
So
okay,
you're confirming that everything is correct.
right. So no one has to swear, actually.
Right.
Okay. Okay, very good. And so now we'd like to go to the next paragraph. We'd like to go to flattery. So who would like to read flattery? Lou, can you read flattery for us?
Flattery. Defined as when one's mouth and heart are not the same, i.e., he shows extra affection when his inner and outer emotion contradict each other. All the more so if he speaks words of peace, but inwardly waits in ambush.
Hmm.
It is a bad characteristic and brings divine anger into the world. The attribute of flattery is distanced, just like a nida, a woman during menstruation, and one wrongdoing engenders another, such that one will not protest when he should, and the sin of the wrongdoer will be called by his name. I don't like this sentence about the nida.
Attribute of flattery is distance, just like a nida.
Nothing wrong with Anita. Sounds like it's saying Anita is a terrible thing.
Well, one does have to distance oneself, right? There's halachas
Only if you're
that
the
requires
husband.
one to distance oneself. Yeah.
Right, but that's not because there's anything wrong with her.
Okay.
This is implying that flattery is a bad thing. It's not implying, it's saying flattery is a bad thing. To be distanced like Anita. What's the comparison between flattery and Anita?
I don't know. I think he means in regard to the distancing that one has to distance
Observe.
oneself from flattery is like the distancing that one has to do from Anita. In other words, I'll tell you what I think that he may mean. Mina Torah, Anita, there's an isser of tashmish, of relations, perhaps other things as well, chibuk nishuk. But there's many derabbanans that handing something in the same hand, all sorts of isurim. Why all the Yisuri derabbanan? over here, because we understand that the isser of living with a nida is a very serious matter. It's a matter of chorus. So therefore, we distance ourselves to a very great extent, even more than simply not engaging in marital relations. So that's the comparison over here that he's making to flattery. We should stay very far away from it. We shouldn't there shouldn't be any hint of it. We should always have a unity between what we're saying and what we have in our heart. Absolute. I think that's all he means. He doesn't imply, he doesn't mean to say that there's anything bad about a nida. There's something bad about violating the prohibitions that are involved with coming too close to a nida. That's what's bad. But the person is not bad. Okay. It's actually very interesting. He doesn't here again. The translation is I'll just read you the words that I have in the Pele Yoetz. This is what he says in regard to flattery and a nida. He says, Midas chaneif mu'usa kanida. V'avera goreres avera. So the mida, the attribute of engaging in Hanifa, in saying words that you don't really mean, is mu'usa, is repulsive. Okay, then he says like a nida. But what does he mean when he says like a nida? V'avera goreres avera. This is the difficulty. That one sin will lead to another sin. This is why Chazal made such a distance with a nida, because the minute it's the nature of the matter that if he's going to do one act of closeness, it's going to lead to another act of closeness, and another one, until he chas v'sholom is liable to do a very serious sin. So he's saying the same in that same way. This is the repulsiveness of the midah of flattery. That he says a person who has that midah of saying what he doesn't mean, he says it's going to lead to that he won't shelo yimcha beyad mi shebiyado limchos. That he won't raise a protest in a situation where he needs to do so. Avera al shmod yikareh. And the avera that the person does because this flatterer did not protest his action that he knew he was about to do, the flatterer who didn't protest, he will be responsible for this person's avera. Because had he made his bacha, had he registered his protest at what he was about to do, the person very, very possibly would have refrained out of embarrassment or shame or recognition that the person is that he's right what he's saying. I shouldn't do this. And he says this is an interesting thing he says here, that somebody who has the midah of chanufa, he constantly goes around saying things that he doesn't mean. That avera that he does that will cause this avera, that he won't register this protest. So that's the comparison he's making to a nida. that one Avera, even though it may be considered to us to be a minor thing, passing, what could be wrong with passing, that you do that all the time. You pass something into the hand of your wife. But the halacha is that we shouldn't do that at that time. Because we say that one thing leads to another. Okay. Okay, now we're up to mockery. Is Roy there?
Okay,
Roy, are
I'm
you
gonna,
there? Oh, it's already time. 11:31. Okay. Okay, Roy, you got there just in time.
Roy just left out. Maybe his modem went down again.
Oy.
All right. Okay, well, have a good day. My computer's almost shot too, so I have no electric.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
Okay,
we're happy that you're able to be with us for the whole time, Mayor.
yes, I'm happy too that I could do this.
Baruch
Hopefully,
Hashem.
this will get resolved soon. Okay, have a
Yes.
good day, everyone.
Okay.
Amen. You too. All the best.
Thank you. Okay,
Have a
thank
great
you.
day. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Lee Netter.